Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm 4 years sober from alcohol, opiates, cocaine, and other substances. Today, I want to take the time to answer all the questions I receive in my TikTok inbox. It's hard to keep up with them, so what I've done is try something new, kind of do like an interview Q&A thing. I've made a list of some, make more videos coming out of these, but I started off my list today. We'll do the top five that that I get most often, and I'll state the question, give an answer, and hopefully this helps people that are new to recovery, trying to get sober, thinking about getting sober. Obviously, the first one that I get all the time, biggest question asked, how do I stop, or how did you stop? So I like to be very blunt, honest about this, and very basic, because people get very into deeper questions, think there's like crazier answers that are going to come out from this. When realistically, for me, it was admitting I had a problem to myself first, then to other ones, my loved ones, my parents, friends, girlfriend, whatever spouse you may have, and asking for help. And for me, obviously, when I first started my journey on trying to get sober, I was fully addicted to opiates at the time, physically, obviously, and mentally. But I needed to physically get off them, so I asked for help. My parents helped me with my research. We found a detox for me to go to. I went to detox for 7 days. A lot of these drugs, especially alcohol and Xanax, you can die from coming off of. And for the most part, I tried to get sober at home 100 times, and with friends, by myself. It never worked. I tried things like Suboxone and other things at home. Even if I'd put together a week or two, I was going back to the drug. The stronghold it has is amazing. And once you start to feel that sickness, even if you really want it, it's hard to just beat that at home. I only know probably 1 to 2 people out of the thousands I've met and worked with, tens of thousands, that were able to do it. Not to say you can't, but why make it harder on yourself? You can do insurance, even state aid and stuff like that, even grants. You can find your way to a detox if you don't have the funds, and you'd be surprised who's willing to help you. But I needed that time to make it easier on myself. They medicate you. You still have some withdrawals that go on for a couple weeks after. They're very mild, but you get through that rough first week of withdrawals. And I needed structure. I needed to be locked down in a place. I needed a structure in my day. I needed to be around people that understood recovery and addiction, and that was huge for me. And then I went into rehab, a 30-day rehab. And at that point, you're still fighting off the little acute withdrawals, they call it, little chills in the morning. But the main thing for that is your mind needs to recover, and your body and soul. So each day you get a little stronger, your body detoxes itself, your mind starts to transform to thinking it needs this one thing every day, right when you wake up, to, okay, I have 1 day without it. I have 2 days without it, and you start to build a little stamina there in your sobriety where you don't need to sit there on edge waiting for, gotta get it so I feel better, gotta get it so I feel better. And 30 days later you could leave, you're still fresh and new, but you got 30 days, 40 under your belt if you did detox before that. And I went home with some strength, some understanding more about recovery and addiction. You get some education. I started to understand the 12 steps, AA, NA, and the meetings. And I'm going to do a video on that just to explain more about what are the 12 steps, what happens in AA meetings, and so on and so forth for the newcomer. From there, I'm going to make more videos about how to stay stopped, but that was the main way to get stopped for me. Next question is, how do you stay busy in recovery, and how do you not get stuck in thoughts? Huge for me. I'm not for sticking with the not, staying busy, how to stay busy. But in the beginning, you got to. You're going to have free time, and boredom leads to relapse a lot of times. We get lost, and what do I do in my free time? My whole life was just chasing a drug, money, and being able to meet my drug dealer and hide all my lies. And then you sit here and you have peace, comfort, serenity, free time, and we don't know what to do with it. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. The normal person loves that. That's normal life for them. But take someone from 10 years of chasing a drug and that lifestyle, and all of a sudden they sit down and got nothing to do with their day. All they know is to go back to that. So in the beginning, I'd say the first year of recovery it was big for me to stay busy. Right away, gym is huge. Fitness saved my life, along with God and everything else in AA, NA, 12 steps. But fitness is massive. It's the first thing you're going to do to start working on yourself, and what way to start physically. I believe you go out to in. Start to work physically, you're going to start to want to interiorly work on yourself and better yourself. And it builds confidence. You start to feel good, look good. That's a saying, Reading, watch my other video about the spiritual bank account. That's what my book's coming out about. And that's it. That's my life plan. And my key to success and spiritual happiness is same as you are what you eat, you are what you do and put into your body. So if we're gonna stay busy and it's gonna be violent video games, porn, hanging out with people that do drink all the time, and you're in early recovery, how are you gonna feel good? So meetings, fitness, meditation, prayer, reading books, learning new things, in early sobriety, and during a pandemic, I taught myself day trading online with a friend that just got sober, and made some money off of it. Still do. So learn new things. The mind is made to keep learning and progressing and growing. Stay back, you're gonna fall back. That's my biggest motto in this. And how do you not get stuck in thoughts? For that part, gym, movement, running, whatever you like. And it doesn't have to be powerlifting, it could be yoga, it could be stretching, it could be Pilates, jogging every day, whatever works for you. Stuck in thought, journaling. Journaling is huge, trying to grieve my brother. I was overwhelmed in thoughts for the next couple months after that, first year. And, I'm never perfect either. I learned through failure and trial and error. But once I get overwhelmed, I get stuck in it, I would sit, write it out. There's something very meticulous and relieving about writing things out. It releases it from your soul, see it on paper. I used to write kind of like letters to my brother. I felt like I wanted to talk to him, I couldn't. And I had so much bottled up emotion. So I would, write what I had to say to him, and it got it off my chest. Meditation is huge. For me, meditation, what I've learned, I used to think you have to have no thoughts. It's the opposite. It's the processing of thoughts, let them go, and then you should have no thoughts and be able to look in. We take all day people's lives on social media, their stories, their Instagram, their TikToks. It's overwhelming for our minds to process all that, and then you have the trauma you went through in your life, the fears you have about your family, job, security. It's hard to be able to sit there and find peace, and meditation really does help that. So you can sit there and find peace in the day and be present. It's a huge part of my sobriety, staying present. And then prayer. I start my day off with prayer. Start with a good thought, have a good thought. How do 12-step meetings work? How do you find good ones? Great question. Can't wait to make a video on this next. To dive deeper, but short answer. How do 12-step meetings work? So it's basically, the way I like to put it, it's a support group for someone that's trying to understand it. You're all going through it together. There's people that have time and success there, and there's people that are on day one, they're still failing, showing up drunk. And there's a program it's set. It was made in 1934 by a couple alcoholics, and they wrote a book, started the meetings, and it's just sober alcoholics helping other alcoholics get sober. It's really, I've seen miracles every day when I go in there. You hear people's raw, true stories, and you hear how they got through it on their own and with help of others and God. Find good ones. Nowadays you can find them online anywhere, and you gotta try them to find the one that you like. There's some I go to, really don't get much from. Found the ones that really work for me. For me, it's people that are deep in the book of AA or NA, whatever, and they work the steps and help others. You can hear when someone's really spiritual, and I cling to those people. Stick with the winners. I hope this helped. We're gonna come out with more, answering questions through TikTok DMs. Stay sober, stay alive, get lifted, physically, mentally, spiritually. Love y'all. God bless.